Grand Rising Soul Fam, it is your shaman, your sister in spirit, and your friend Alesha here. And I just want to give a big shout out to Mariah, who showed up in that post yesterday and really shared with me and really inspired me on what topic wanted to be discussed today. So before we get into that topic, again, thank you so much. I want to kind of go over a few announcements, and I want to share a little bit of a story. This is going to give people some time to hop on to the stream, okay? So, of course, Devin, Anthony, and I on May 7th are going to be out at Empowered Yoga. This is going to be our first time sharing this chakra journey that we're doing. It's going to be a fusion of yoga, sound meditation, and shamanic journeying, which is so sick and just so amazing. And we're really grateful to have a space with somebody like Amanda, who is the owner of Empowered, to invite us there to share our collaboration. Anthony and I are also going to be out doing our shamanic sound journey at Metastone in May. Okay, so all of those details are in the description box. Beyond that, of course, what are some things that I just do out of my home office here in Fallensby? I can do Reiki, I can do shamanic healings, any kind of energy healing. I'm still doing shamanic readings. I'm doing mediumship. I am doing attunements. I'm working with people on their spiritual depth through shadow work and other connection, intuitive development modalities. And I'm just like holding space for people to like show up authentically, to share what's going on in their lives. And it's such an honor to do that. So thank you to everybody that showed up the past couple of weeks, who got to sit on this couch with me and scheduled their consultations. For those of you that don't know, I do provide free consultations. It is on my Calendly site. So you'd go to calendly.com/Alesha Dunlevy. There's a consultation button for us to just sit and chat and see if it's possible for us to even work together. Okay. Lastly, I had said in May, there's going to be a week where all of my sessions are completely donation-based. I will be dropping those dates very soon, so keep an eye out, maybe tag somebody, invite people to the group who you feel like maybe want to work with a shamanic practitioner, but have been waiting for the appropriate time and the appropriate amount, because our pockets aren't always full, right? And the other thing that I love to share is like, beyond money, there are many ways to trade and barter and to show up for each other. So know that as a human that honors that, like I honor that as well. All right. So let's go ahead and get into this. Oh, Mariah, like, we're talking about divine partnership. We're talking about divine masculine, divine feminine. And I'm just stepping into my story real quick. Back in 2016, when I split up with my partner at the time, I went on a twin flame journey. And if anybody has heard of the twin flame journey, like, drop, like, who's on it? Somebody's gotta tell me who's on it. Like it, like this post, comment down below. I'm very interested. Who in our community has tapped in to that twin flame concept, right? Because it goes beyond soulmates. It goes beyond some of these things. I went on my twin flame journey in 2016, and I found out a lot of things about that community in general on like a global scale, and I found out a lot about myself. Um, the one thing that I am constantly preaching on in terms of the twin flame community, if you are in it, is beware. Okay? Beware, because the number one addiction in humankind, like the real source of a lot of our suffering, is love and a lack of it. Okay. And so I have found that there are a lot of readers and a lot of educators that tend to use that knowledge to manipulate a mass group of people. And what ends up happening is we become so obsessed with chasing love, we become so obsessed with finding our soulmate, we become so obsessed with finding our twin flame that sometimes we have not done the healing work enough to really align with our twin flame. All right. So then we end up staying in or holding on to people that are completely toxic and not aligned with our greatest and highest good. It causes us extreme amounts of suffering. So please beware, if you are in that twin flame journey, of what the real source of it is. And what I and many others who have been on this journey have found is that it truly is this topic of like the divine masculine and the divine feminine, which resides within us. Now, I have studied this topic for a few years, so it can be extremely expansive. And so what I did today is I sat in meditation and I talked to my guides and I asked what wanted to be spoken about today, because this topic really can be digested in pieces. And so here we are sharing piece 1, part 1 of potentially a series in the divine masculine, divine feminine, twin flame concept. All right. So let us begin. For those of you, if I have anyone there, time checking that 7 minutes and 15 seconds is where we get started in the message. All right. So this is the message that came through. When we are talking about divine partnerships, soulmates, twin flames, karmic partners, there's such expansiveness about this topic. As we observe nature, we can see that the relationship of co-creation requires no commitment, requires no conditions or attachments, right? Like in nature, the trees aren't saying, yo, bee, you got to stay here and live here forever. Birds, you have to stay here and live here forever. We have to make this commitment to each other. It requires no earthly concepts of love or war. Like these relationships, these divine relationships are what they are. And they catalyst growth no matter what. Because truly what divine partnership within self and with others is a balance of ebb and flow between two opposing energies. Okay. Teetering too far into heat causes drought. Teetering too far into coolness causes a suspension of life, the suspendedness of life. Yeah. The one thing that we have observed as humans is that it does require opposing parts, opposing forces. And societally, we have defined those parts as masculine or feminine. As many of our soul essences are inherently androgynous, it can be hard to determine what kind of partnership is going to bring us the most balance unless we are able to clearly identify the duality within self. Okay. The sun and moon energy within self. The alpha and omega energy within self. The masculine and feminine energy within self. As those on this planet are getting more in tune with their androgynous natures and transcending the governing titles of masculine and feminine, we want to respect that using the terms masculine and feminine can be triggering if they are still in the healing part of their journey. And healing is in that they've realized the lies and the force to be something other than who they truly are. And in the process of breaking down these forces, these forced identities in order to step back into themselves. This is less of a brokenness and more of a vulnerability. For like anything on this planet that is in the process of growth, there are times when we, they, can be more vulnerable than others, and we honor and respect those who are in the process of breaking down those gender identities so that way they can step into their true nature. So if the words masculine and feminine are triggering, we love you, we apologize. We are working with very basic concepts, okay? And we invite you to continue to heal that part of yourself so that way it heals the collective. So for me, as someone that has identified as she, her, they, them, since a teenager, these words don't trigger me, okay? Because I'm deeply aware of my masculine and feminine side, but I'm still learning more about how they want to be expressed in a more balanced way. And as we dive into this topic, we so deeply remember that strength is neither masculine or feminine. Okay, because as we study masculine and feminine energies, right? Sometimes strength is associated with the masculine energy, but strength itself is neither masculine or nor feminine. It is not something that decidedly has a gender, okay? It is simply the opposing force or the opposing face to the same coin of vulnerability. Knowing and understanding that both must be present with each other and neither can exist without another. You cannot be strong without also being vulnerable, without having weakness. Strength and weakness are the same thing. Strength and vulnerability are the same thing, and they need each other to survive. Yeah, that yin and yang, right? Like in the dark side there is that piece of the white, and in the light side there is the piece of the dark. That is what this is. One cannot exist without the other. Okay. So tapping into this energy and relating to this sacred topic of partnership, romantic partnership specifically, we can recognize that what we experience on the outside of us is a direct reflection of what is happening within us. Can we get down to the nitty-gritty of who we are and how we show up in relationships? Who is the masculine inside of me? And is he healed? Who is the feminine inside of me? And how healed is she? Yeah. Are they healed? Are they fully aware of themselves? So much so that as another dual being steps forward into my life, that they are unwavering, compassionate, and understanding? Are they so integrated and accepted and loved that their strengths, their vulnerabilities are understood and prepared to align without ego with another for the greatest and highest good? We want to share a story directly from Alesha's life, give you perspective that transcends romance and Hollywood indoctrination. So, Alesha's lineage, my lineage from my maternal grandparents' side, has two boys and one girl. The girl's mother, the girl was my mom. All right. So, the two boys grew and found their life partners. Each woman was different, but very much the same. In a very short and extremely limited description, one was very outgoing and social conscious, deeply involved with understanding one's tradition and cultures. She was also aware and curious in psychics and metaphysics. The other one is a massage therapist, has a very calming and wise nature about her. Both women are different, but the same in some deep ways. Strong, powerful, influential women. When these men picked their wives, they did not know that their sister was going to die, leaving Alesha without a mother. Okay. They also didn't know how these women were going to affect her life, but here she is before you, a licensed massage therapist, a shaman, and most profoundly, still alive. When we are picking partners, this isn't just about self. That story is here to say, when we are picking partners, it is not just about you. Okay. There are much higher forces at play that understand and can foresee things that our minds are not considering. So when we are choosing partners that match us, that balance us, we are choosing people that are going to be able to be the strength when we are vulnerable, not just for us, but for our families. We are going to be choosing people that are the rock when we are the balloon flying away. Unconditionally, but neither strength nor vulnerability, rock nor balloon, can sustain them. So I'm going to say that again. Neither strength nor vulnerability, rock or balloon, can sustain that role because we intrinsically know that we as people cannot thrive nor survive in hyperalkaline or acidic environments. So as we come into a place where we recognize that partnership isn't just about me, about the whole, as we come into a place where we recognize that partnership isn't just about me playing a role, but for me stepping into who I am fully, who I really am. Really, what is it that I need to thrive and survive? Then we can pick and choose and attract a partner that is able to match, balance us in the ways that are most important for the greatest and highest good. We cannot put our overall wellness into another person. It cannot depend on them. In other words, we cannot depend on others to complete us. Likewise, natural law reminds us we depend on our tribe as much as we depend on ourselves. Truly, divine masculine and divine feminine are only one of the infinite amounts of realization that duality is necessary for survival, growth, and expansion. And so, we hope this message plants seeds, expands your hearts and minds in preparation for the deeper dive into conversations that we are looking forward to having with you. So, that was the message that I was able to channel. And the reason, so me kind of stepping in here and wrapping it up in a bow. Masculine and feminine is a very difficult word to be using in this day and age because a lot of us don't realize that we are androgynous. Our souls are androgynous. They don't have a gender. Gender is something that is assigned here on this planet because this planet has poles. It has two poles. It has two things, and they're all opposing forces. Love and war, right? All of these things have two sides, but they're all the same thing. They rely on each other in order to keep a balance here, which is very difficult, right? Because some of us are just like, why do bad things happen? It's because good things happen. Things cannot be good unless they are bad, and bad things cannot be bad unless somebody determines something to be good, right? These things cannot exist without opposing forces. It's confusing. It's just what it is. And the more that we kind of play with these concepts, the easier that it's going to get. All right. The more that we open ourselves up to, why isn't it the way that I want it to be? The more we can eliminate the heaviness and the concreteness of what is good and bad. Is it all based off of a reaction? Is it all based off of what pain or the pleasure response? Because I know a lot of people that love pain, that find pleasure in it. Like there are people out there that find pleasure in pain. And there are people that find pain in pleasure. It pains me to experience pleasure. It's so uncomfortable, right? So again, here we are with this understanding that they work together to create ultimately an experience. All right, so stepping into divine masculine and divine feminine, we have both that exist within us. Okay. And again, masculine and feminine is one duality that really has a very long list of stuff: hot, cold, firm, soft, strength, vulnerability, analytical, logical, imaginative, and creative. Okay. Again, we're just really all of that word is an expression of different sides of self. So, what happens is within this teaching, within this understanding, is that as if we use the external world as a gauge of what's happening, we can see that we can really get like there is hyperfeminine, there is hyperfemininity, okay, and there is hypermasculinity. What we have coined the term is toxic, okay, toxic masculine. Our society, and especially I'm going to pinpoint it because it's not global necessarily. Okay. There are some places where they still have balance, right? But in our Western culture, there is toxic masculinity. But what we as decidedly women, okay, what we as beings, I want to clarify that, what we as human beings have the opportunity to understand is that hypermasculinity exists in all of us because it could not manifest if it was not happening within us. Okay. So what is masculine? It's activeness, it's logic, it's structure. So then how do we, if we just use the mind, right? If we logically understand duality, what is required for us to pull back into balance, not be an acidic masculine, not to be an acidic behavior? What we would do is we would pull back into the opposing, right? The opposite face of that. Again, it's the same coin. So what is it that'll pull us back this way? Leaning into feeling and intuition. Trust, leaning into leaning into heart-based decisions rather than logic-based decisions. Not just doing things that we are thinking about, doing things that we are feeling, doing things because it feels good. Okay? Not just thinking about things, going with the flow of things, surrendering to the flow of it. Right? Not just being hard about things, but having an openness, having creativity, not keeping things in such a framework, but accessing creativity and imagination here. All right. So where are you? Like that was the real message, right? Like I read kind of like the outline of it, and that is my more feminine energy. Like, I'm channeling information and it's very expansive. But like, here I am in my masculine energy, bringing it in. Like, let's hone it in here. Let's say it in a different way, right? That's a little bit more direct rather than expansive, right? So here's another example of that. And likewise, where is there maybe too much feminine energy? Where are things getting too alkaline? Where are things getting too loose, too emotional? Because we need both. And we cannot attract divine partnership until we are fully aware of both the divine masculine and divine feminine energies within us. I personally prefer to call it the alpha and omega energy. Okay. Because to me, alpha is like the one that's like standing up and kind of being a little aggressive. And the omega is also a leader. Like also that leading energy, leadership, but like kind of takes a step back, looks at the whole picture before taking more of a direct force with it. Okay. And because I want to honor all of my brothers and sisters out there who are realizing that they're androgynous and really trying to navigate like what is masculine. And also, if I'm being completely honest, tapping back into the very beginning of the video, because I'm just being real with you guys, like I got lost in that twin flame journey. Okay. I picked partners. I was hanging out with people who were not my divine masculine or my divine feminine, right? Because I was seeking for something outside of myself to complete me. And I was picking like some narcissists because I hadn't done the work, right? So I don't love the divine masculine, divine feminine terminology because I know that a lot of us out here are hopeless romantics that just want to fall in love. Like we just genuinely want to fall in love. We want to have that person in our life that completes us. But the question is, can you complete yourself? Yes or no? And nobody's saying it's going to be easy, right? But it's a journey and it's a delicious adventure. It is delicious, y'all. Like to get to explore me, to get to explore my masculine, my feminine. I'm so dope. Like, I am so infinite and so dope. And so are you. You are. I know you are because I am you and you are me, you know? So not find that partner within you. Or maybe if that terminology works for you, go for it, fly with it, you know? Because sometimes that terminology does work for me. But what we're really saying is that understand that your sheer existence, you could not exist. If you're on this planet, you must have duality within you. You must have the two poles within you. If you did not, you could not exist here. And if you pull too far on one side or pull too far on the other side, you will not exist here. That's just how it works. It is the balance and the harmony of whatever it is that you are seeking, whatever it is that you are needing, that is really going to allow you not only to exist, but to thrive and expand and to grow. And that is powerful, you know? And like for men, like I really want to talk to you guys real quick because like I think as females, okay, our toxic masculine society really has taught us how to have us step away from our feminine embodiment, you know, and overthink and become workers and become providers and all these things. Like we have had to step into your world, right? They say it's a man's world. We have had to step away from our divine feminine in order to survive in this world, but we're still intrinsically connected to the feminine within us. And so for the divine masculines out there, like nobody is saying that you have to paint your nails in order to access feminine. Again, that is a societal idea. Okay? The omega energy is stepping out of here and stepping into here. It's getting in tune with your feelings. That does not mean that you're going to be crying all day. Okay? It means getting real with how you feel about yourself, how you feel about your friends, how you feel about your life, how you feel about your crush, how you feel about things. Your feelings are a tool and a key that will help you if you tune into it. You can absolutely take your mind and use it here. Nobody's saying like only use your heart. Your brain is attached. Like it's gonna function anyway, right? But like drop into the heart space a little bit. Well, I feel this way about it. Okay, then use the mind. What am I going to do about it? I feel this way. What am I going to do about it? I feel this way. What am I going to do? Does that make sense? So it's going to be hard because it's such a deep programming. Okay. And for women as well, like for me, I can pull a lot of masculine energy. I can, and masculine energy is like, I take care of this. I'm in charge of this. I can do this. I'm logical. I'm like, I have a lot of masculine tendencies. I have a lot of alpha tendencies, right? So it's also been difficult for me to figure out, how do I take care of myself? How do I deposit self-care? How do I teeter more into love? How do I embody beauty? Right? Function versus beauty. How do I access feeling, evoking emotion, not only in myself, but to others? How do I tune more into my spiritual side, into my intuition, rather than trying to figure everything out on my own? How do I lean into tribe, family, community, rather than just trying to do it all by myself? Yeah? Do you feel the duel? Do you feel that? So for us females, right? Like I was talking to the males for a second. For us females, it is absolutely important, because what they talk about in the twin flame journey is that the divine feminine is the leading edge. Again, this does not mean those with a hoo-ha are the leading edge, but it could be, because we're just more naturally, for those of us who identify as female, I want to be very clear with that. We are naturally more in tune with that part of us. So it's going to be important for us to pull the energy back, to balance that within ourselves, because what quantum physics talks about, and what just like other research has shown, is that when some humans just begin to do it, when monkeys, I think it was monkeys, like monkeys started doing this one thing on one side of the earth, like on the other side of the earth, the monkeys just started doing it because of the oneness, the unity consciousness. Okay. So for all of my soul family that is here and that has stuck for this whole video, I love you and I honor you and I appreciate you. And really what this question evoked inside of me and inside of all that is, and possibly inside of you, is, can you balance the divine masculine and divine feminine within yourself? Because if you can do that for yourself, not only are you going to be healing self, you are going to be catalyzing one of the greatest movements of our time. One of the greatest healing movements of our time. And I hope that you hear that, because we are teetering too far into acidity, right? Even in our food, right? Even in our bodies, it's manifesting as illness and disease, in mental illness, physical illness, mental illness, spiritual illness, pulling too far into the masculine energy. We are calling for us to pull back into divine feminine energy within our actions, within our thoughts, within our feelings, within our sheer beingness. And when we do that, we are literally catalyzing one of the greatest healing movements of all time. And it starts with you, my friend. And trust me, you have been promised partnership. You have been promised love, because you are love. And when you find partnership within self, it has no choice but to find you, because you are it. I love you all so much. I get into that zone and I love it, because I need these messages too, And knowing that my uncle and I talked about this, like sometimes it's not just about flowing, being both at the same time. Sometimes it's really about flowing in and out of it and being just present with your moment. So that way, when you go too far, you don't just keep going, right? Because then it takes more time to get back to the other side. Just allowing yourself to go through the natural flow with awareness, with mindfulness. Okay. And maybe in micro perspective, it's like, oh, why am I not getting it? But in a larger perspective, if we take a step back, we can see that we really are doing it, that we really are expanding and growing and balancing between both. I love you all. My time has come to an end. I'm sure that this topic will continue to show up in a lot of different ways because I do love this topic. It's one of my favorites, actually. So, peace and love. And drop a comment below. I want to know what you guys think. I want to know what you guys feel. I want to know what else you guys want to learn about. Divination tools. Do you guys want to talk about that? Do you guys want to talk about meditation? Like meditation for the modern person. Do you want to talk about like mindset? Do you want to talk about Mariah had also said connecting with your guides. I will totally be touching on that. Thank you for that inspiration. Like, you all inspire me just by being you, just by your natural curiosity. Okay. And if you don't want to pop it in a comment, like, add me on Facebook, send it to me in a private message. I don't have to let people know that it was you, but I'm here for you. And I want to show up for you because I know that by showing up for you, I'm really showing up for myself. Like, this is our relationship here, everyone. Like, we are sharing. This is just a platform to share. All right. I love you all so much. Bye.